self-driving cars. Are they the future? Does anybody really want them? Third thing, in this episode I'm going to take a trip around Edinburgh city centre in a self-driving car, looking at the pros, cons, ethical issues, moral quandaries and capitalist hellscape that is a self-driving car. Okay, I am going to answer all those questions, but I can't afford a self-driving car. This is actually just a shitty green screen. That's not even going in the right direction. Let's jump into it. Part 1. The 5 levels of self-driving cars. The Society of Automotive Engineers say there are 5 levels to driving automation. Let's look at them individually. Level 0, which technically isn't a level, but they include it in all of their charts, so let's include it as well. This means no driving automation. You fucking caveman. Level 1 is driver assist. This includes cruise control and lane keep assistance. Level 2 is partial driving automation. This is where the car has multiple automated functions that help the car to change lanes, adjust speed and park itself. But at the risk of sounding like your old driving instructor, your hands must be on the wheel at all times. Level 3 is conditional driving automation. The technology makes nearly all of the decisions on the road. The driver is still needed to be present and available at all times, so they can override any potential incorrect decisions, although they can have their eyes off the road and their hands off the steering wheel for periods of time. Level 4 is high driving automation. This doesn't require any human interaction in most circumstances. And level 5 is full driving automation, which does exactly what it says on the tin. These vehicles, in theory, can perform anything that a standard driver could do, but it's still only a theory, as it still remains in the science fiction section of blockbusters. Most car manufacturers are level 1 or 2, or 0 if you want to be pedantic. Which I do. I guess the best way of putting this is that up to level 2, humans are responsible for the car, and after that, we're putting our head, shoulders, knees and toes into the AI's hands. So far, Honda and Mercedes are the only 2 car manufacturers who have got legal level 3 status. Cruise, which has self-driving cabs, which technically operate on level 4, but much like a teenager who's just passed their driving exam, they're limited in which areas they can operate in on their own. Chinese search engine Baidu and Google are at level 4. So I guess the question now is, why would search engines want to be in the self-driving car market? Part 2. Adverts. What? You didn't think it was going to be out of the goodness of their hearts, did you? The average commute to work is about an hour each way. That's 10 hours a week, or 520 hours a year, or 21 days. And if you've ever been on a train, you'll know they're littered with adverts, because when you're on the underground, or have low service on your phone, you've got nothing else to do but reread that incontinence advert over and over again like it's fucking Groundhog Day. When you're driving to work, you have to keep your hands on the wheel, especially in some places where it's now the law that you can't hold your phone while driving. This means that Google's missing out on up to 2 hours per day of time to show us adverts. Although Google can tell where you are through your phone's GPS, they want more data, and crucially, more of your attention, which is our economic value in today's society, which is depressing. I know. Imagine you're in a traffic jam and Waymo offers you an alternative route. Who's to say that Google hasn't been paid by companies to include them along that alternative route? What are you doing? Or that your big touchscreen on the dashboard will now show vouchers for companies that magically you're about to pass on this different route. I'm aware I'm starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but these features are already a thing in Google Maps, and Google has seen the benefits of charging businesses to have Pokemon spawn at their shops in games. Google knows that knowing where people are traveling to and from can help their Maps business. Now they want to physically shove people around. Remember, every time that we trade convenience for time, there will be a company waiting in the wings to commodify that time. And if you like that written on a throw pillow, I've just restocked my Etsy store, which is linked below. Part 3. Can autonomous vehicles ever be a good thing? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss. It's very hard to make a judgment call on technology that doesn't exist yet. But what I will say is that self-flying drones have helped the farming industry, measuring weather, repairing big buildings, protecting wildlife, war reporting, and in some cases, delivering packages. Self-driving cars could also help the delivery industry with autonomous trucks and offering more mobility to disabled people. So I'm not saying it's going to be bad, I'm just saying there are going to be moral implications and privacy issues. Oh, that reminds me. Part 4. Moral implications and privacy issues. Did you notice that the positive section was about 10 seconds long of a 10-minute video? because I did. Right now, you should only enable self-driving features if you're the kind of person who doesn't like privacy or loves actively being tracked. And I'm going to take an educated guess, if you're this far into the video, you're neither. Eye scanners are checking if you're looking at the road, and biometric scanners are analysing every movement you make to learn from you. All of this free labour will help self-driving cars in the future, so thanks for doing that, early adopters. Cars also gather tons of data, including, but not limited to, the routes taken, your voice recordings, video recordings, media preferences consumed during the ride, behavioural patterns, and if you pick your nose at a red light or not, making it a threat to privacy and private travel. And that's not even mentioning the trolley problem. The trolley problem? Yes, me in a hat. The trolley problem. It's an ethical thought experiment. In the case of self-driving cars, the experiment goes something like this. You're in a car driving along and someone jumps out in front of your car. Should your car, A, continue on its current path and hit the pedestrian, or B, swerve and hit a nearby building and kill yourself? I'd like to go 50-50. You can't go 50-50. There's only two fucking options, and technically, neither of them are right. We asked people and there was a definite split between hit the pedestrian people and hit the wall people, and it varied very much around their philosophical stance, where they were physically standing, and their emotional state that week. People said hit the pedestrian when they were in the car, and crash the car when they were the pedestrian, because at heart we're all selfish arseholes who would sell our own mothers up the river if it meant we could just scroll TikTok for just one more hour before the sweet release of death. And of course, these questions are a headache for everyone's favourite, the insurance companies, because who is to blame for the kill? Is it the car, the driver, the pedestrian, the car manufacturer, the people who coded the car who might not be the same as the manufacturer, the Jews? Who put that on the teleprompter? Fritz! If the driver is at fault, most people won't get a self-driving car, as they don't want to be in court defending what the vehicle did while they were watching my top quality YouTube content. God, he's an arrogant twat, as if anyone's going to risk their lives to watch this shite. There's also a lesser known third option for misanthropic YouTubers like me. This is where you get out of the trolley and connect the two paths together so you can kill everybody in one fell swoop. If the manufacturers are at fault, they're going to need a big bank balance to cover the cost of millions of potential court claims and murders. I mean, for the most part, we don't have ethical self-driving humans yet. What makes Tesla or Google think code, which is taught by humans, will do any better? Part 5. Other issues. The other two big issues that come with driverless cars are a loss of jobs and loss of control of our own private vehicles. Now, although it's not everyone's dream to grow up and drive an IKEA delivery van, it's probably nobody's dream to grow up and not have any money to survive because a robot is doing all of the jobs that are available to them. Uber has created an entire gig economy for people who need flexible second jobs because their first job doesn't seem to pay them enough, which is depressing enough. And I know no company owes someone a job, but the fact that they've been underpaying drivers for years and have been using their actions to train their AI software, which is now replacing them, it just seems, well, inevitable when I put it like that. And a loss of control over our vehicles. Most self-driving car companies are looking for ways to monetize beyond the original purchase price. This could be subscriptions, downloadable upgrades, or would you believe it, selling our data. And that really grinds my gears.